What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to my channel. Today I've got some more I Do Work Here Lady stories for you. I'm a photographer, not a teen. This happened to me a while ago at a volleyball training school that I work at part-time. My dad co-owns the place with 4 other people, 2 of which are ex-pro volleyball players from Russia. At the school we have different coloured shirts for the students based on age range, green, blue, white, and a black shirt for staff. All of these have a giant logo of the school plastered on the front of it. Since I play soccer and have school to focus on, I only work there part-time. When I'm there, I do things like update rosters, take payments, translate for people in Spanish, which is my first language, and things of that nature. Now, because I like photography and my pictures are pretty decent, my dad pays me extra than my usual salary to take pictures for their websites, and to help him with logos and colour schemes for game uniforms, which are different from practice uniforms. Photoshop stuff, relatively easy. Anyway, I walked in one Thursday afternoon, and after completing some paperwork and finalising some payments, I went out of the staff room / office to take pictures of the class in action. We teach from grade levels 8 to 12. Today was a class of 8 to 9 graders. I had my uniform on, but because it was a bit chilly inside, I didn't bother taking my jacket off. I thought that as long as I kept it unzipped so people could see the logo on the shirt, I would be fine. That was a mistake. I set my camera's shutter speed, checked to make sure the flash was off, I don't want to mess up the students, and started snapping pictures. It was at this point that one girl's father came in to pick up his daughter. I should mention that normally the girl's mother picks her up, so he didn't know the staff very well. There was still 5 to 10 minutes left of class, so he made his way over to the rows of chairs lining the walls of the gym. Until he saw me, a punk high schooler, 11th grade at the time, taking pictures of his poor freshman daughter and her classmates that I can use for my own enjoyment in the privacy of my bedroom. He immediately got up from his seat and stormed up to me. He demanded to know what I was doing taking pictures of his daughter and threatened to destroy my camera if I didn't give him the SD card that second. I was so shocked at the sudden confrontation that I couldn't think of anything to say, so I simply grabbed the side of my jacket and opened it a little so the logo on my shirt became visible. The look on his face when he saw the staff uniform I had on was one of absolute horror and shame. He mumbled a half-buttered apology and walked back to the seating area. Now, every time he walks in, he never speaks to me. Even when the bill for the classes is due to be paid, he either waits until he's sure I'm not around or he gets his wife to do it. He's actually a nice guy from what my dad tells me. He's just ashamed. Well, I get what some people would say. Some people would probably think that folks ought to ask questions and wait for answers before acting on their assumptions. But in my opinion, this guy was just looking after his daughter's safety and nothing more than that. However, I really think he should man up and admit he sized up the situation wrong and apologize properly to OP. Just ignoring him and waiting for him not to be in the school, yeah, that's not really that normal. If I were you, next time you see him, give him a happy greeting and chat like you normally would to let him know it's all good. Now for our second story, crazy lady tries to get behind the cash register. A little bit of backstory for this. I was 15 years old and very short, so I looked like I was 12 or 13. 15 is the legal age for people to work here as long as a parent lets them work there. I normally ran the cash register and my manager was somewhat trusting in me to make sure all of the money was safe. This will be important later. Now our store has 4 cameras and 3 TVs, one towards the doorway, one being on the counter and one in a staff only room. This will also be important. So on a calm day we have a customer come in. She came in with 2 shy looking kids. I had not recognized her, so I thought she was new. We have a pretty small town, so I knew most of our customers. This lady went up and down the aisles. At the time, one of my friends was in the store. He came up to me and said this was the lady he was talking about. He said that she was going to be a pain to me as she has been to another co-worker a few days back. I said that he shouldn't worry about it. So after about 20 minutes, she comes up to the counter. She starts giving me her items. So far so good, I thought. She wasn't paying attention to me at the time. Then she looked up. "What are you doing behind the counter, young man?" "I work here, Mrs. Crazy Lady." "Where are your parents?" My friend interjects. "Mom, he works here. He is 15 and he's allowed to work here." "You're both trying to get free stuff and steal the money they earn. Can you please give me the rest of your groceries so you can leave and we can move on with our day?" The crazy lady's first kid, who was shy, says, "Mom, come on, we need to get to the party." "Shut up, kid, you don't know what's going on." I'm just sitting there watching as she screams, "Mom, can you hurry up? I want to buy some donuts." "You mean steal some donuts?" My friend, whose father and mother were cops, was taken aback. "Mom, I'm not trying to be mean, but now you're trying to make me dishonest towards my family's history. Get get this filthy friend of yours out of here before I get an actual employee and get you arrested. Her other shy kid says, Mum, come on, you do this everywhere to some kids in the neighborhood. It's embarrassing and you still haven't learned your lesson. Now this kid looked about 14, around the age of where I started thinking about getting a job here. I will show you both how right I am and how you should both let Mum take care of this business. Mom, I'm trying to be nice here and that's it, I'm getting an employee. The crazy lady starts hollering for someone else. A co-worker peeks in, but I wave him off. He's part of your plan too, she says, gawking. No, Mum! A voice yells out, and we both look at the kids. They turn red and start saying sorry. Then the crazy lady comes over the counter and onto the workspace. She grabs me by my collar and starts screaming profanities at me. I'm scared and panicking because I have no clue what to do. Then the manager comes out. The crazy lady seems relieved. You wouldn't believe what this dumb kid was doing, she said, smirking. I stopped him before he could rob you and take everything he could. Lady, why are you behind the counter? Don't lie, I saw you on the camera. She looked dumbfounded. You were out here? Yes, and I saw you assault one of my employees. I think that she was starting to put two and two together. Then she pulled out her ultimate weapon and said, just because he was, she said this as if I were going to be fired, an employee, that doesn't mean he wouldn't take anything. It's not like you have a camera pointed over here and you can see him. Now, I was working with this manager for around 6 months, so he knew that I hadn't been stealing money. This is why he trusted me with the register. He wouldn't steal a single cent as he is too paranoid of what would happen. What if he was just using it as a disguise? Then he is pretty good at acting and should be on stage instead of here. I heard that the band doesn't care about your age as long as the person playing the instrument is good at it. Just then the authorities arrived. What is all of this for? She said nervously. My manager said, well, let's see here. Assault of employees, trespassing, shoplifting. She put a candy bar in her back pocket and I think that's it. Well, nothing too big at least. Yeah, my manager was able to crack jokes at any situation. She was arrested and I didn't press charges. The kids are in foster care until a few months when the dad gets out of jail. The crazy lady was sentenced to 3 years in court and 7 years of community service. I do feel bad for the kids as they seem to not be a devil like their mother was. And to help her case a bit, our store doesn't have a uniform, so maybe she got confused by that? I mean, I'm not really sure I agree with that, to be honest. Maybe she wasn't sure that you were working there, but that doesn't excuse how horrible she was towards you and how aggressive she became. Fair enough, if she'd asked you, excuse me, but I don't see you wearing uniform. Do you work here? That would have been okay in my opinion. You guys could have just said, oh, sorry, this store doesn't have a uniform. Yes, we do work here. But instead, she suddenly started to assault you. I mean, that's really not on in my opinion. Now for our final story. Towing guy gets confused for an illegal parker. Context. My dad worked for a towing company, which had plenty of contracts with property owners to tow heavy vehicles that are parked illegally. Police officers patrol the properties, spot illegal parkers, and call dispatch up, which then call him to tow. My dad drove a 50-ton quick swap with the company's logo on both sides of the truck. Because of the contracts, he is allowed to park on the owner's property if he needs to rest. Plus, it provides a good bait for unexpected heavy drivers. Now onto the story. My dad was in a parking lot taking a quick nap since he had been driving for a while and it was the middle of the night. He gets a call from dispatch saying there was a private property tow that needed to be picked up. He was given the address, which just so happened to be where he was. He got out of the truck and looked around to see no illegal parker in sight. He informed dispatch of this and ended the call. Before he could get back in, a police officer then approached him. The following conversation ensues. What do you think you're doing here? You can't park here. Yes, I can. No, you can't. This is private property. I've just called someone to come pick up your truck. Yeah, I know you did. I just got off the phone with the dispatch about it. I can't tow myself. Oh my god, it was his truck. I highly recommend you leave because when the towing company arrives, your truck's going to get impounded. Then they better wake up someone from day shift because I have the biggest truck in the night shift in the entire company. Now you're being smart. Well, one of us has to be. What do you mean? My dad then pointed to a sign that was at the entrance of the parking lot. Go and read that sign out to me. The officer went to the sign and began reading. Commercial vehicles parked without authorization will be removed and impounded at the owner's expense. My dad then told the officer to read the bottom of the sign. The officer did just that and then looked at the side of my dad's truck, noticing that the logos match and then realizing the error he's made. He made the walk of shame back to his car and left, leaving my dad with a funny story to tell me once he got home that morning. Oh my goodness me, how the tables turn. That was such an Uno reverse card right there. I think that's got to be the biggest 180 I've seen in an r/IDOWorkHereLady story so far. What do you think? I love how this police officer was being all smart about it, saying, excuse me, you can't park here or you're going to get impounded. And it turns out the dad was the one that does the impounding. Like, you can't impound your own car. That's brilliant. Anyway, guys, that is going to be the end of this episode of I Do Work Here Lady. I really hope you have enjoyed it. If you did, drop a like on the video, comment your opinions on these stories down below, and make sure you are subscribed for daily Reddit content on my channel. Also, if you want more I Do Work Here Lady stories, immediately click the playlist and you've got all of my episodes right there in front of you. With that being said, I will see you guys all tomorrow for a brand new episode on my channel.